Hey, welcome back. All right. Session 4. For the most part, we'll be talking about the pen tool, which is, in my mind, the greatest tool in the arsenal of Illustrator. Like, you can create anything with the pen tool. It's really great for like bringing stuff in and tracing over and like smoothing. It's such a wonderful tool. We'll get into that. First thing I want to talk about is how you work. How do you design? What are you doing? How are you sitting? What are your distractions? How come you're not in the flow? One of the things is first thing to talk about is everybody's like, oh yeah, I got a laptop. I'm gonna work on my laptop. Laptops suck. They're bad for your posture. They're bad for working. You need to outfit your laptop and make it workable for you. One thing to note, like every laptop, I'm going to say almost every laptop and almost every TV in the world now has an HDMI port, which means if you're savvy, and so you get a dongle and a cord for $20, and I know it's money. Okay, I got it. But you can plug your laptop in to your TV and use your TV as an enormous design screen. Tell everybody in your house, you're taking over. I'm using the TV for the next 2 hours and you can watch me work. But you should be sitting up and working. If you can. Like, that's the best way. Like, you should be sitting up. What happens is when you're leaning over the laptop on a desk height, the desks that you're sitting at, the table you're sitting at, whatever you use, is ergonomically designed for your hands and your wrists to be at a certain height. But it's not designed well for your face, especially when the screen you're looking at is connected to the height of where your hands should be. It doesn't work. So start to set up an area that when you get home or you're at home, wherever, you're like, this is my little design area. And even if you have to take it down every day, like it's your kitchen table and you got to eat at it, I totally get that. But like, get some books, get a shoebox, whatever it may be. Raise that laptop. If you can't do secondary, raise that laptop off the ground. Get it so you're not leaning over to look at the screen, because I see everybody doing it. You don't, this isn't good for you at all. It gets you tired, you get worn out, and you're like designed for like 15 minutes. You're like, I'm tired of this. You're tired of slouching. Bring it up, sit up. You can put the keyboard is used. You can put your hand up here. One hand sits here, one hand's on the mouse down here, and you just work away comfortably, looking at your screen, zooming in, zooming out. Make your design space your design space. It's, all the classic stuff. People have like artist studios and all. Make a design space. Every time I design, I get my laptop. I put it on this set of books so I know the height. I have my mouse to the right or left, depending on what hand. And you get your like cup of coffee or your tea or whatever, your Monster energy drink. And you kind of just set up. And every time you do it, you get in it, you set it up. And I'm going to say this, and I know everybody hates this. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb for an hour. You don't need to find out what your friend ate through their Instagram or whatever post, their TikTok. Hey, y'all, look what I just ate. Who cares? You know what? You're designing. It's far more important. You're learning something awesome. Just put it on Do Not Disturb. You get back to them in an hour. Check in an hour. Just let yourself design. Here's the great part. If you get used to that, you just keep your phone on Do Not Disturb. And that's what I end up doing. And then I just look every once in a while. I understand some people have kids. Some people are taking care of elders, all that kind of stuff. Those are important features that you need to be on top of. But all the other crap, like, just let it go. Just design. Set up a workspace. Get comfortable. Know where everything is. and design. That's like keeping your Illustrator design space clean too. You know, like some people used to like pull their panels everywhere and they'd have like 10 panels and they ended up with like in the middle of their screen, like this was all their design space was because they had like the toolbars and then they had a palette here or panel here and like panel here. I'm like, put all the panels to the edge and work on a giant artboard. Like make it as big as possible. So start to think about those things. Why is that? Here's a big one. You'll get your stuff done faster. If you're worried about your time and like, oh, if you come in and every time you 1 minute set up, boop, 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 set it up, and just start working and know where everything is and how it is, boom, you're going to be designing so much quicker because you're not being disrupted by everything. Like, oh, now where is that? Okay, I got to go find it. And then you stop and what was I doing? Where was I working? Just sit down and design. Tell everybody to leave you alone. Get set up, work comfortably, work up, do what you can. So start to do that because this is something you're doing. For this class, you're supposed to be looking at a screen for like 16 hours a week. Don't be bending over like a Neanderthal. Sit up straight, work good posture, good body, good mind, good work. It all flows together. So make sure you're doing this. It's a biggie. All right, let's jump in. What do we got? Letter expressions. Again, we got a new one. Oh, every week, new one. Why? We're designing. We're trying new stuff out. I want to see you push the bounds of design. We just keep doing the same thing. Guess what? Each time you do it, you're supposed to get better and more creative. How can I beat? So I like to state this with a lot of the assignments is if you're like, oh, he just makes us do the same. Beat me at my own game. Follow the directions and make the craziest design possible. Beat me. Like, I want to look at it and be like, oh my God, that's so original, so creative, so great. That's where I'm pushing you. We started easy. Oh, exit. I can just make the X go away. But then you move like, how do I make it look more like a door? Or what do I do? You know, what can I do within the parameters to really push this design? And that's what I want you all to start doing as we do these. If you do it to get it done, that's the work that you'll do. Done work. Oh, I got it done. Great. If you do it and try to be very creative, that steps it up. That's what you're looking for. That's why you're in this business, is to be creative. People want to hire creative designers, not uncreative designers. So we got our document. It's 4 inches by 6 inches. Mine's always set on a 1/4 inch of bleed. I'm going to go to the more settings. I want 3 artboards. I want mine running horizontal. I want mine at 1 inch apart. See how fast this goes now? When you look at that, you're just like double checking. And I'm going to hit create document. There it is. I'm going to just start up margin. Return. We need a box. It's a 1/2 inch smaller than the other one. 3.5 by 5.5. Well, let's use properties. Double click. 3.5. Hit the tab. 5.5. Enter. My hand never moved on the mouse, never moved around. I saved myself time by just typing in what I needed to type in. Then I'm not even I'm going over here to just prove. I'm not even going over here because it's still selected. I don't need to do it. I typed in my numbers. I'm going to go down. Let's align that to center and center. Donezo. And now it's a margin. Let's remove the fill. Everybody, remember to remove that fill. And for the stroke, magenta, not red, magenta. Okay? It's an industry standard, meaning when you get die lines from other companies, the margin's gonna be magenta, not red, not green, not black. Just it's a one-click deal, you know? And now I'm still over here. So for the most part, you know, except for pointing out this stuff, I'm still over here. And I'm just going to go copy. So you didn't even see me do it because I did it on my keyboard. And the only thing I don't know, which I should learn because we got to do it all the time, is I'm going to go to edit, paste on all artboards. If you have the dexterity to hit 4 keys at once, go for it. I'm not that good. Wait, Shift, Option, Command, V. Let's try it. Shift, Option, Command, V. Yay, I just learned it. I'm always going to do it wrong, though. I'm always going to hit Control. But it's something good to learn because you do it twice on every artboard. And look, margin's done. I lock it, make it a template. It's done, all right? And you do that every time. And it should be. And I've talked to students, and they're like, well, the book doesn't have you do it. That's because the book's not also teaching you proper graphic design skills. It's just teaching you Illustrator tricks and tips, kind of. Like, this is the last year I'm using the book. Let you know that much. All right, let's make crop marks. Crop marks, got to know where to crop it. Got to know if I goes to print, how they're going to cut it out. Crop marks. All right, I'm going to draw a box. This is even easier, but same things apply. I drew the box, and because I could use those intersections, it popped right in. Look right here, transform, 4x6, perfect. Fill, nothing. Stroke, nothing. Effects, crop marks. And I'm not even worried. I know it's centered, but I can just double check it. Kapow, kapow. I'm going to copy. You're not seeing me do anything. And let's try. Shift, Option, Command, V. Crop marks on every page. My hand barely moved. Efficiency in design. I'm not going lift, here, up, down, back, forth. Just use those quick keys. So rad, so good. Let's see. What are we on? Now, and then I would make my type layer. And if you do it right, you know, I say reorder the layers. You don't really have to reorder the layers, but T-Y-P-E. All right, I'm gonna do one word, clown. And wait, ooh, sans serif. Make sure you're using the right fonts. What should I do? I'll do all lowercase. So like the first idea, what can I do that haven't done yet? And it meant, remember, why is that spelled wrong? Oh, it's probably because it's not capitalized. Remember, point type. I make a point. Area type is I drag a box. Point type is what we're using here. You have to know the difference. It's when you know, and that's why I have you do 2 experiments. One that has paragraphs and other stuff, and you add stuff. But this is just a clown around, have some fun. So I'm looking at this. Now I'm looking at, okay, sans serif. Never use Myriad Pro. Oh, I'm using this font for something else. It's so nice. It's almost like, it's sans serif. I can use it. I'll do Arial Black. And I'm going to make it smaller. And now, you know, you got this whole area. And when you do these, I've been mentioning this to some people, like when you're done with your design, make sure, like, if the design is meant to be off center, great. If it's meant to be like right in the middle, get that final design right in the middle. So type, create outlines, edit, or object on group. Now I got all these. Now I'm like looking, and I had an idea. It's like with the O and the clown nose. Like what? Oh, so let's what? Okay. Oh, this is so weird. You're not gonna be able to read it. Like. What do I do with the L? Like I was gonna do an eyebrow. It's supposed to be like a clown face, but I can't have 2. I mean, like there's somewhat of a semblance of a clown face using the letters clown. Can we read it? Not really, but I'm pushing the bounds here. So it's like this to this, this. What if I, you know, like do I make it more apparent? Like, so, okay, what did I do there? I switched from the select tool, the direct select tool. I selected just on the inside because I want to remove that, and I'm just going to hit delete, delete. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what to do with the L. Oh, it could go here. It's all about the spacing. So say like that's my clown. Nobody else can do this. It's mine. And then I'm going to make sure I get it centered. Like, and then why don't I make it bigger? I'm not going to be like this. I can stop there, you know, stop at the edges, remake sure it's centered. Oh, you know what I can do? Oh, why am I such a fool and doing some of this? Now I'm going to take these three. Let's align them perfectly in the center. Those eyes can be off. I'm going to grab, so I grabbed all of those. Now I'm going to grab all of these. I'm going to group it, with my hand on the keyboard, Command G or Control G, and then I'm going to center this. Boom, boom. There we go. Oh, it was actually perfectly set. There's my clown. It could probably use adjustments. But again, I'm doing this within like 4 minutes. So have some fun, move things around. Yeah. I talked about you can cut letters. A million ways to cut a letter. They will teach you in the book how to use the cut tool. I don't like that cut tool. I can never get it to work. Object, ungroup. What is great is the Pathfinder. Say I want, a half a letter or even a quarter. You can draw a box and be like, I want it on an angle too, and so I want it on this angle. Oops. I'm gonna delete that. I'm gonna pull that over that. I'm gonna select both. I'm gonna go to the Pathfinder tool. No, not Pathfinder. Yeah, Pathfinder tool. And I'm gonna like go into there. And if I go across all those, it makes it 2 shapes, and then I can go in and delete the one shape I don't want. Now you will be saying like, but when I click on it, sometimes it clicks both, but it shouldn't. And then now I have like a half no. It's like, burp, burp, burp. Oh, that actually works kind of good. Oh, like what if the W was the mouth? The C. Oh, see, doesn't take long. It's like a winking clown now. That's creepier. And then upside down. Problem is the N turns into a U upside down. Or like, whoa! There we go. All letters, like just play around. Start seeing like what happens when you do weird stuff. Oh, it'll do a tribute to was it that Destiny's Child? What was that? Left Eye? Should put that thing there. Like play around, have some fun. This was only letters. It's only one color, and you can cut letters. And like I said, if there's a point where if you're like, you needed this longer, you can extend, but you can't distort. Like this is distorting, but you can extend it. Makes a big difference, but now it looks like an R. So play around, have some fun. There's that. Don't save. Next one up. Typographical challenges. What's our book today? To Kill a Mockingbird. I just like looked up like what are classic books. I have no rhyme or reason behind the book titles. I just needed information. They get weirder. I did some more this morning throughout the semester. So new file, just like we always do, 7x4. So as soon as I know that, like I just look at the assignment, 7. 4 is already in there, but I'm changing it to 4. You can keep 3 artboards there, 0.25, perfect, good. More settings, 3, horizontal, 1 inch, done. Create document. Again, so easy, margin. Oh, and I'm doing something. I added a new parameter to the assignment, and I'll talk about that in a second after I make my margin. So I drew a box. 1/2 inch smaller, 6.5, tab, 3.5, return. I'm not going back over there. Fill is nothing. Stroke is 1 point. Magenta, no other color. Centered, centered, copied, pasted on all pages. Go back up here. Template, lock. And well, when you do template, it auto locks it. Done. Crop marks. Going to do the same thing. You can draw the box and then show you never have to go back on that page. Do it all by hand or just do it all over here. 7x4. No fill, no stroke. Oops. FX. Crop marks. Scroll down. Centered, centered. Copied. Paste on all pages. I got crop marks all the way around. Done. Locked it. And then you make your other layers. Text type and other. I want to talk about some type rules that I just don't want you guys to get in the habit of doing. So I might as well squash your dreams now. But why? All right. So we know we have to add our book and we have our type. Remember, area type and then point type. To kill a mockingbird, all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that out. And then tap once and paste. Oh, shoot, what happened? Oh, it didn't like my pull there. So I'll just copy, point, paste. All right, what is he talking about? What doesn't he want us to do? This. One, I talk about it a lot. Margin. Make sure things aren't touching. Make sure things stay far enough away from each other. I talked about that last class with the X height and like things, just give things room, you know? I don't want it up into my face. Now, if I'm doing something and I have this, and this is like, you know, the situation here. It's good. Oh, I can up the size, make it ginormous for some reason. Play around, adjust your type, play with your leading, your kerning, your tracking. And that's great. This is one thing I don't ever want you to do with body copy. All right. From here on out, and it is now listed in the design the compositions, black and a single color. The tints of that single color can be used. Do not stretch, squish, or distort the typefaces. Don't leave hyphens. Don't leave widows. Oh, no important information should extend beyond the document. Oh, I don't have it in this one. Okay, I have to type it in. I must have done it in a different assignment. Or I have to update. I will put that in before the end of the class. We do not center body copy. Here's why. Like, oh, but it looks so nice. This is a crutch. It's called a design crutch, that when somebody's designing and we do everything symmetrical, right down the middle, I have a title and then I have the text and I center the text and then everything's down the middle. You know what it is? Boring. And just not done. It's not a poem. You know, like we're not like artistically reading a poem. And the eye, and there's studies on this, if you want, they're like reading from like here and then going out further, then in, then out. Like it's not easy on the eyes. We're used to reading in a certain way in the Western world. And so that means you should be left, even if it's over here, but it's beautiful edge right there. It's easy. I know where the lines start. I can flow from one to the other. We just shouldn't center align body copy. And when I say center align, that's what this is called. When you click up here on these paragraphs, these are aligns. Left align, center align, right align. You can do this. This is nice, fancy looking. Look at that. Line it up with the right. It's still a little bit difficult. I wouldn't do that a lot. But in general, keep it left. Don't do centered. We're just going to stop ever doing centered. It's not going to be allowed on these assignments anymore. So just know that. I will write it in on the typographical challenges. I thought I did. I must have done an old one. So keep that in mind. What can you do? You can center these, the title and the name. Sure, those can be centered. Put them in the center, whatever. But you'll find you'll have far more dynamic designs if you just don't center stuff. And again, when I talk about that, and you're like, but you know what? Look around. Open a book, open a magazine, and look for centered type. If you can find it, show it to me. Take a picture and be like, oh, I found one. And I'll probably tell you like, oh, that looks like an amateur design. You never really see centered design. There is a poster in this room that is centered designed and it's awful. It's MATC designed it. I didn't. But there's only one poster in this room and it's centered. So no more centered text like this. Just don't do it. Don't even get in the habit of clicking that. Only do it if it's required by the client or the assignment. And my assignments are anti-centered. So don't save. Okay. Let's do this. So excited. The pen tool. I'm going to download design mission number 3. No font. Oh, a font is needed. My bad. Oh, because at the bottom, I had to change it. I used an Adobe font and it didn't work. Extract it. However your computer is. Right click for PC, double click for Mac. You should be able to just double click on that bad boy. You just double click on the fonts. How do I install a font? Double click on it and hit install. Both programs, it installs it just fine. Here's your design mission. Whoosh. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to open the file because I want to talk about the pen tool. And I just want to show it to you without that right now. And I'm just going to open them, create. I don't even want one document. Create. The pen tool is right here. It looks like a fountain pen. That's what it's designed. That's what its icon is designed after, a fountain pen. Back in the original, working graphic design, fountain pens were used for marking, lining, whatever, everything. Like that was the way to ink. And then we came with like enclosed ballpoints and all other types of pens. But this is I'm going to sound like a dad. This is the OG. So it's the pen tool, and that's why it looks like a fountain pen. You have the add, anchor, delete, and anchor point tool. All of these are used together. Now, when you click on the pen tool, it just will either have the pen or it'll have an X. And you start by straight lines. I'm just going to tap once. And I got a straight line, and I got this thing sticking to me. That's perfect. I go where I want to go next, and I tap. I go where I want to go next, and I tap. I go where I want to go next, and I tap. Doing that creates a line. It's not enclosed. It's a line, even though it says it has a fill and outline. This is just, for all intents and purposes, I made a line with the pen tool. I can go back to the pen tool and hover over that line and see that how my cursor changed. Now if I click here, and I did it sloppy. If I just click there and click here, I've now created a shape. And this shape is infinitely adjustable. I can take the direct select and I can be like, I need to adjust this, move it here, move this here, move this here. I can create anything I want. Along those lines, I'm going to create just a dumb, weird box. I want to like, oh, I want this to be angled up. So I'm going to go to this pen tool, and you can either click add anchor point or you can hover. And if I go right in the middle and I click once, it added a point in the middle. And now if I go to the direct select, I can grab that point and move it up. So I can add or say like, oh man, that looks like crud. I can go, and you have to make sure you're selected. And I'm gonna go back to the pen tool. I'm gonna go to the -1 and go over it and just click on it and remove it. So you can add points and remove points. It will be good for you to just open a page and be like, click, 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 and just see what you can do. Because that's geometric stuff. That's the easy stuff. If you look at this, there ain't a straight line in this one, is there? Woo! This is where it gets hard. And that's why I purposely did this. I don't know why I'm zooming in. Curved. Curves are created by clicking once and then clicking and dragging. I'm holding down my mouse button and dragging. You can hold shift while doing that, or you don't have to hold shift. You can move this around. And as you see, it's now, adding those. Do this. Make a page where you do click and drags. Make weird organic shapes. And then go through and adjust them. So there's my weird organic shape. Now, if I click on this tool and I go wherever there's a point, an anchor, I can go and adjust that. I can go and adjust this. I click on it and it gives, these are Bezier curves. The French are back. Sans serif, Bezier curves. These are mathematic curves. And I can go and adjust and do what I want. And you can infinitely adjust these. Get to know these. Greatest thing in the world. All programs can use Bezier curves. This is the way vector graphics really work. They really shine. Do not ever do this. I need a curve. There's a circle. I drew a circle. That's BS. That's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11-sided geometric form. That used to happen all the time. Again, if you want a circle, just freaking make a circle. You know what I'm saying? But if you wanted like an organic shape, don't click your organic shape like this, because you didn't know how to make curves. Like you could do that, or like take the pen tool, click and drag, click and drag, click and drag, click and drag. Now the thing I want you to notice when I'm doing this too, I am going far away. Don't do this. I wanted it to follow this one path, and so I made a billion little moves. Inefficient, ugly, and look how jaggedy that is. You want the less points you have on a curve, the cleaner that curve will be. You need to practice. And this is a great practice. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to show you how to do it. And there's a grace and, like just something to it. I love it. Like I do this all the time. So I am going to, let's do it. I'm going to go to the flames. I didn't realize how bad that was. All right. I should actually include one without Phoenix in here. Oh, you'll figure it out. All right. So I'm going to start with the pen tool. and I'm on flames, and it's going to be yellow, and I'm going to make my fill nothing, and I'm going to make my stroke pink so you can see it. And I'm going to not start there. Zoom in. Don't start far away. And I'm going to just simply go like point, and I'm going to find a high point, and I'm going to click and drag. And I'm going to find a low point, and I'm going to click and drag. I'm going to find the end point, and then I'm going to re-click and do that again. Fewer points and looking at what you do. You're going to have to do this later on where you're going to have to like find an image and you're going to trace that image. This is what this is used for. This is what like a lot of artists and designers do. Like I made this. I kind of drew this out by hand first, like naturally with a pen and paper, scanned it, brought it in, and then went over it in Illustrator to make it like super neat and nice. But this is how we do it. All right, I got my pen tool out. I'm going to start down here. I'm going to click once. I'm going to go to this high point, and I'm going to click and drag until my yellow meets the black. Right? And it moved, but I can go back and fix that. Then I'm going to go to like my lowest point, and I'm going to click and drag until my yellow meets my black. Now, I want to move up. I'm going to, while this is all activated, I'm going to hold down my space bar and adjust. And then I'm going to click here. I still have my little guy here, right? Now, I need to turn around. So you can turn around, and what I've been doing is just re-click on that point and then go to the high point, pull down. Now here, I'm going to go to this lowest point and pull across. And then I'm going to go here because I can move these curves. I'm going to change the color. Go there. I'm going to do one more high point, and then low points down here. It's behind. And then I'm going to come out over here, right? It's behind the letters. So you can do one. And don't worry, I'm going to go back because you're like, but it doesn't look perfect. At some point, I'll stop. I'm going to stop at the top of this flame. And I'm just clicking once. And I realize I got to change yellow to a different color. Boom. I'm going to double click on that. I'm going to just change this. You can change it to whatever you want, but we need it so you guys can see it. Okay. Now, they don't all match up. Well, that's what this tool's for. So now I can go in and click on these and pull these little bars. And which one? Just pull the one that you need to pull, and they'll just kind of go into shape. And that's how you go back and then you adjust. But look how many times for all this beautiful curving curve, very few points are made. And you just go through. You do a section, adjust it, breathe. Don't hold your breath, when you're doing this. And some people, I'm holding my breath because I'm trying. You can go back and be a little more accurate later. Here, let's do this. Let's do this fancy pants guy. Click. I'm going to click and drag. I'm going to click and drag. Click. I'm going to click again on that so I can turn around. Click and drag. Click and drag. And click. Then I go back and fix it up. You can shorten and lengthen these. There you go. Now, I left off up here, hey? All I need to do is get my pen tool, go back, and it's happy to have me back. Look at my thing change. Woo, you're back. All right, I just click on it and continue. Click and drag. Where's the big, like a big transition here? Click and drag. Click and drag. Go up here. Click and drag. I'm going to go here. And instead of doing a turnaround, I'm just going to make sure I click on that just at the points. The reason is you'll get some weird, like it will solidify the point a little bit and it'll just be better. So always make sure when you get to those tips of each flame, before you turn around, just make sure you click on it again. And then I'm like, okay, I need a break. I want to fix all that stuff. It's bothering me. Go to the select tool, have it stop. You can hit the enter as well. And then you go back and you click on it and you click and drag and you just go through it and like refine. Again, zooming in is going to help you. Having your computer up by your face is going to help you because you're not going to be scrunched over trying to see this. Zoom in. Like, if you need to zoom in this much, zoom in that much. Take your time, go like around curves. You know, that's a little extreme for me, but I'll go one more back. I would probably settle on this, knowing that I can just hit the space bar. And then like, okay, I left off right there. Click back on the pen tool. Click on that anchor. Again, it was heavy. And then go around. Now something happened. And it's going to happen to you. I'm going to finish this at the point. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to go back. And this happened. What is this? What are you talking about? The way, when I restarted it, it started it with a single side anchor. So see how I have a handlebar here, but there's no handlebar on the other side? They're literally called handlebars. I need to correct that. Like, see how it's not doing it. It's not doing it like it's supposed to. All right. We breathe. We go to the pen tool and we go to the anchor point tool. And I click on this and I redrag it. And I get 2 handlebars again. Easy fix. How do you fix it? It's this tool, the anchor point. What does that do for me? Let's go here. I'm going to show you what it does. It will change your anchor point. It's something I actually do all the time. I'm working away and I'm like, you know what? I want this curved. You could use this, or I can go to the anchor point tool, click and drag it. Or I want this to be straight. If I take the anchor point tool and I click on it, it will now make that a perfectly straight line. So it alters the line that you're using. So it's the magical transformative properties of the anchor point tool. And all I'm doing is like clicking. So it'll either turn it from straight lines and an angle to a curved. But the way we get the curve is you have to click and pull. If you want a straight lines, you just click on it. Click and pull. Click on it. I will, you know, I say that, like, I say this for all the design missions, is I hope that it's like, you don't need to watch the video of me doing it. You know, you watch it once, watch it, you know, get this stuff. Put on a podcast, put on that music, put on do not disturb, and just like go through it. This is Illustrator and this is illustrating. The computer doesn't do it for you. You do it. This is why we hire people. And this is what your job is entailing. Like, you know, when everybody's like, oh, you just have the computer do AI. The computer, like, won't be able to give you these beautiful, like, rock and roll flames, as I call them. The hot rod flames. I actually literally copied a side of a car to get it started. I know how to do them, but I was like, I want the really stretchy ones. I've made these many a time, but it's just like click and drag and take your time and do all the flames first. All your colors are there. The font is downloaded. The font is, you just have to type the word Phoenix. But just kind of remember, it's click and drag, click and drag. When you get to the tips, click again on the tip. Do that. You got the Phoenix, eh? Phoenix is probably easier. I could probably do it on this one. Let's do the Phoenix a little bit. Phoenix is exactly the same. And again, what do you need to use for this? This is it. Oh, this looks like a ton of things. A bunch of these are like just are repeats of stuff you already know how to do. Eyedropper tool, full screen, zoom in, zoom out, group on group. You know, like I leave those in there, but you're really just using the pen tool. Let's look at this. Let's get I'll do this wing ding. You can set it's all set. It's still on font, you know, whatever. I'll do this wing and then, you know, change the color. I'm going to zoom in. I was oddly uncomfortable with this. Just zoom in. I don't know why. I was like, I'm not close enough. Click. I'm going to go down here. Click and drag. Click. I'm going to re-click on that because I'm changing directions. Click and drag. This one's tight. So if you don't, the further you pull, the more graceful the curve. The less you pull, the less graceful the curve. Used in different situations at different times. Go up. Click. Click again. Click and drag. Some people also like to kind of rush it. Not rush it in a bad way, but you can go through and be like, I got it. Click. Click again. Drag. Point. Point again. You know, like even in the crevices, I'm doing it too. I'm clicking on it again. Up. Click here. Click and drag. Click. Click again on it. I want to make sure those inners are nice and pointy like that. See that? See that little point? See that point? That's what I want. Click. Click. I'm doing this one purposely sloppy. Click. Click. Because this is the beauty of it. All right, let's go back and fix it. Then I'm going to zoom in. I want to see this accurately. Going to go to this guy and just like, boom. Let's change I'm going to change the colors so you guys can see it a little bit more. I don't know. And I'm just going to click on it. I'm too zoomed in. And then like clean it up. You can move these little anchor points wherever you need to. This is where the gracefulness comes in. Oh yeah. Got to pull this one. I want that, you know, go back and forth. You move one, it moves the other. Get them fixed. Pull this down, a little more graceful. Ooh, that one's really off. So it's just simple. Drag and pull. Get that a little higher. Get the crotch of this one in there. Get that. And this is it. This is the epitome, like this is the pen tool and knowing what you can create with the pen tool. And this is fairly hard. Once you get complex done, easy, the other parts, making other shapes are easy. I picked a horrible color for the black and dark blue. Like I can just move this one. It was in the wrong spot. Move it. Let's fix it. And there we go. It's all about clicking and dragging, taking your time, not holding your breath. Everything's undoable. Oh, can I say that to you? I've said this before, and I'm a big proponent of it. I think I talked a lot about it yesterday or Tuesday. If you're going and you did this and this wing isn't looking right, delete it and start it again. Who cares? 20 minutes. Yeah, just 20 minutes of pain and trying to fix pain. Just delete it and start again. There might be something in what you did that is keeping it from working correctly. Just delete it. It's some pixels. Guess what? This is like so true. Back in the day when computers weren't as reliable, they would shut down. They would freeze and shut down all the time. Like you'd be working on a big project for a client and you'd be like working for 3 hours straight and your computer would freeze and shut down. You'd be like, oh my God, I haven't saved. And this was before like auto saving and anything like that. You'd be like, oh my God, I haven't saved for 3 hours. It's all deleted. And you'd be like, oh, you get up, you take a break, you come back, you're like, okay, I got to rebuild it. Like the client doesn't care that your computer shut down. You still have to get the work in. But guess what? Doing it the second time, say it took you 3 hours the first time, it takes you only an hour and a half to do it the second time because you know what you did. It's clear in your memory and you can knock it out. And usually the awesome thing that happens is usually the second time through, things turn out better because you're doing it a second time and looking at it a second time. So if you're at a point, you're like, this is turning out like crud, just delete it and start again. Nobody's, it's not precious. We're not Picasso. You aren't, or I won't use Picasso. You're no Jessica Walsh's yet. You're no Stefan Stegmeisters yet, famous designers. You're getting there, but just delete it and start again. Any questions on the pen tool? All right, I'm sure there will be. Use the project review. Everybody, don't wait in the last minute to use it. Use it. I check it. I'll give you tips, pointers. Fix this, fix that, make it perfect. It's better to learn that stuff now, now, and then like do it before you turn it in. Then you're like done. I comment, so everybody knows too. I comment on everything that is turned in. Look at my comments. Here's the greatest comment you can get. He only wrote like one thing. That means it's good. You're good and done. If I write a lot, that means there's a lot of changes. But don't be nervous. I'm always doing like, what are the changes, all that kind of stuff. Don't be nervous, but I comment on every assignment. And if by chance you get an assignment that there's no comment, reach out to me. Every once in a while, I forget to hit reply because I get interrupted. And then I'm like, then you're like, you didn't say anything about my project. And I'm like, yeah, I did. And I'm like, oh, crud, I didn't hit reply because I got interrupted. Just ask me. That's what I'm here for, to help you improve. All right. That's it for me. I know you can do it. It's a lot of fun. Once you master this, whoa, so much opens for you and like being able to create your own creations. So this, and then Tuesday, the blob brush, woo, those are my like favorites. So, all right, cool. I'm looking forward to seeing the Bauhaus posters, by the way. Remember, you got a little less work to create a better poster. And use me. Send it to me. How's this looking? Blah, blah, blah. All right, great. Take care, everybody. I'll talk to you later.